Hello, and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zulik, the host and Alton Brown of the show. Joining me this week, as always, is
Ben Montoya, the friend of the show.
Ian Davis, the Billy Corgan of the show.
Uh-oh.
And Evan Aubrey, welcome to the new season, everybody.
Yeah.
Woo! Season 6.
It's time, no better time, in fact, than to start off this podcast with a LaCroix Boys. What are y'all drinking?
Hell yeah.
Ben, what do you got?
I'm drinking a beer with an octopus on it,
Oh,
which
okay.
is pretty dope.
Is it octopus flavored beer?
Yeah.
No, it's Escape from Offshoot Beer Company.
Nice.
Are you escaping an octopus?
No. I feel like I can't escape this flavor. Is what
okay.
I'm
That
really
sounds more like it sounds more like a threat.
like
Ian,
it
I
just
see
stays in your
you're,
mouth forever.
I see you got a tried and true polar.
I do black cherry today.
Oh,
Nice.
shit. I'm drinking a Bosque Brewing Elephants on Parade. One of my favorite local beers.
Yeah, that's
Very
a good
nice.
one.
If you're ever in the Albuquerque metro area, be sure to stop by and pick one up. It's quite delicious.
Nice.
Have you guys ever tried Bosque Brewing's Pickle Down Economics?
No,
which
but I
is-
want it.
A pickle flavored beer.
Oh, I
okay,
want it
wait.
so bad.
Evan, before we get to your drink, I did want to bring this up because it did happen. We went to a brewery, and I like to think of myself as I generally like most beers, but Asia ordered this pickle beer and didn't tell me what it was and was just like, drink this and tell me what you think. And I immediately had an awful reaction to it. The only beer I know that I did not like the second that I tasted it.
Bosque Brewing has a pretty good green chili ale that I like.
Ooh.
Yeah, I with me today have not a new drink per se, but I know new drink is season 5 content.
Yes.
Oh,
I've
new
got-
drink
I've
is
got-
old news.
Yeah, it's true. I've got a Spindrift, pink lemonade Spindrift.
Ooh.
Never heard
It's
of
good
this.
because it's got basically it's just like sparkling water, but it's got real fruit juice. So it's got cherry juice, lime juice, lemon juice, and hibiscus.
Oh, so it's like more than like a ghost infected my sparkling water.
Yeah, no, you
berry
taste
flavors.
it. You taste
Okay.
it, and it's colored too, like whatever the thing is in it.
You know, Jeremy, it's interesting that you bring up Keynesian-influenced beers.
Yeah.
Like as in Keynesian
Oh,
economics.
the pickle down economic. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm talking about John Maynard Keynes.
Okay, yeah. But I thought you were talking about Evan. I was like, I don't really get what's going on here, but
Yeah, not me.
Well, we are entering our recession era, so I think it would fit if we had some, economics-based jokes, just for it to keep relevant,
Well, I think since we are starting season 6, this is when we get picked up by a streamer started by a quasi-defunct internet company, and not a lot of people watch it, but the people who do understand that it's actually a pretty good season of the show.
Yeah, is this when like Napster makes its comeback into podcasts and we
Yes.
get picked up by them?
Oh,
shit! Yeah, you have to.
Is Napster the Yahoo of podcasts?
I would think so.
I mean, Napster could be the Yahoo of podcasts if they wanted to, but I feel like Napster would probably just run weird like crypto scams instead of just becoming a podcast company.
You're not
So,
wrong.
Jeremy, you do bring up an interesting point, which is after this season, does that mean that we're legally obligated to make a movie, just like
Okay.
Community?
Well,
6
okay,
seasons
so
in a movie.
first of all, there's been no Community movie, so I'm gonna go punch Dan
Okay.
Harmon in the nards to get him to give me one. I'm sure that will go well. He's probably too busy swimming in his Rick and Morty dollars, though, to actually pay attention to what we have to say. No, I'll just have to find a different comparison, because obviously there's going to be a season 7 of I Choose You. Because
Make
this
no
show,
mistake.
much like The Post Office, this show will persevere through any hardship. But I don't know. I can't think of a show off the top of my head that has like 7 seasons that I've watched.
Lost had 6 seasons.
Yeah. I already made the season 5's our time travel season. last season. I already made that
Yeah.
joke. So
Yeah. I mean, outside of like The Office.
yeah,
I guess.
what I couldn't even tell you what happens in season 7 of The Office.
Same. I don't know. What is his name? Ed Harris? No, not Ed Harris.
Idris Elba shows up at some point. Is that in season 7? I don't know.
Who knows?
Is like the movie equivalent of a podcast, just like a radio drama? What?
No, the movie equivalent of a podcast is when they adapt your podcast into a movie, which is all the rage these days. So I think we have a bright future ahead of us. Yes, Ian.
I answered my own question. It must be a graphic novel because that's what.
Chaz did. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, graphic novel. That's the jump after season 6.
And the graphic novel is just us like gorging ourselves.
Yeah. It's basically that scene in Spirited Away where we become pigs.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, that could be our fate. I mean, that food that the parents eat in Spirited Away looks pretty good. You can't deny it.
Does look mighty tasty.
That's true.
Yes.
The animes does know how to make good food.
Yes. which is why we're talking about cooking and eating Pokemon here in I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. Yes, it is true. We are starting our 6th season. We are starting our X and Y era. We are starting our what do we call it? Our French. Is this where we get really into like wearing berets or something?
Oh, I was already there.
Yes. It's going to be very continental as will become very clear on this season. So
and if you're for every episode this season, make sure that you're keeping a scorecard of all the puns that we make, and if it's more than 3 per episode, you get to return it for a free smoothie at Arby's.
Yeah.
Arby's, interesting.
This really special collaboration.
If you send in enough box tops, we'll have a party at your school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of party will it be like? Will we just record a live show in front of like 6th graders?
Yeah, basically.
That's my
You'll
worst nightmare.
end up paying for us to have an all expenses paid trip to Pokemon Land in Japan.
I wish we could fulfill that promise.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could go to the Nintendo theme park, which I don't think has any Pokemon stuff in it right now, but it has, like, we could talk about Mario, maybe Donkey Kong.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Listen, if you write down all the puns that we make this whole season, and you mail it in to our PO box,
yes, which we definitely have,
you'll get an all expense paid trip to Legoland.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
You get to stay at Ben's apartment.
Yeah.
All
your
expenses
Lego driver's
paid.
license.
Yes.
And Ben drives you to Legoland, and like he is thoroughly unimpressed the entire time.
He's like, he drops you off, and he was like, "I'll be back at 7."
Yeah.
The authentic experience. Damn.
And then you're waiting there after it's closed, and he's like, "I'm sorry, traffic was kind of bad getting back." Well, okay. Well, that's not what that's only about. Well, we're going to start with the semi-regular segment called The Muse. Yes, there is Pokemon news.
Hey-o.
As revealed in the Pokemon Presents stream that happened last week. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, just like usually my alarm goes off at 7, but I woke up at 6:30 because you know how sometimes you wake up earlier for whatever reason, like you need the bathroom or whatever. And I got back in bed and I remembered it was happening. And I was like, should I go watch this? Should I fucking go over to my computer so I can make some funny tweets about whatever?
You were trying to get back to sleep on your pillow, and you were tossing and turning, going, "No, but if I don't wake up, I'll miss all the clout."
Yes.
Yeah.
My
These
clout
tweets
window
can't
will
stay
close.
in the draft of my head forever.
No. So I shuffled over to the computer in my pajamas and
I like to imagine this was kind of like a Franz Kafka situation where you like became like the cockroach and then started tweeting.
Yes. Well, I think it's a little more like Charles Dickens, because I had like the hat that like has the little ball at the end and a candle. I walked over to my computer and I watched it and I made some funny tweets. Check that out. I choose Pod on Twitter. But I think there's some information to go over. We have, open world. The gyms can be gone after in any order. The region is called Paldea. That looks like the Balearic Islands in Spain might be DLC, maybe Andorra, which is the dual principality that exists between Spain and France, as another DLC region. You can turn your Pokemon into like bedazzled Pokemon,
yes.
where they become
become like fancy chandeliers.
Yes.
What is it called? It's like turfing or
yes, turfing.
Which it is not that, and it shouldn't be.
Yes,
exactly.
No, it's called terrestrializing, and basically the main purpose of it is it's something you could do to your Pokemon, and it increases their attack and abilities for a battle, and you can do it at certain times. But most importantly, certain Pokemon can change their typing if you use it. So if, for example, they had a Pikachu and they used the terrestrializing on it, and it changed Pikachu from an electric type to a flying type. So you can theoretically really like gamify how you're going to do a battle because you're changing the type of your Pokemon through at different points. So it could actually be. It doesn't look like, I don't really like the way it looks, and hopefully it's not just kind of like a gimmick like the Z moves or the Gigantamaxing or whatever that is kind of like whatever. But that concept of being able to change your Pokemon's type, I think, is interesting and could make battle dynamics much more complicated and intricate going forward.
Because you could have a Pikachu that has like a couple of different, or like different Pikachus have different Terra types. So like you may not know which one you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's one of those, and they're like not only, so like one Pokemon they gave like Pikachu as an example, is that it can become a flying type, but it can become other types as well. And there's greater rarity of different types. So like at a base level, it can just become more powerful, but at higher and more rare levels, it can change its typing to a more specialized one. I don't know if it goes all the way to like Dragon or Fairy, but that's definitely something to keep an eye on going forward. But I think for the I Choose You community, you can do 4-player cooperative raid battles in this game, and that just sounds like a streaming opportunity in the future for I Choose You.
Oh yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah.
The only point that's
yes, go ahead, Ian.
I don't know why we're beating around the bush here, Jeremy. Get to the good stuff.
Okay.
The tasty bits.
Okay, the tastiest bit of all is they revealed a new Pokemon. It looks like a dog, and it's called Fido, and it's made out of bread.
Bread dog.
And has yeasty breath.
Yes, and its breath tastes like yeast. And I want to say, to all the haters out there, like someone responded to our podcast is like, what kind of fucking podcast is it? I want to say the Pokemon company's on our side. They keep making Pokemon out of food. Smoliv, Lechonk, Fido, they know what they're doing, and they are encouraging our show to become more mainstream by the inclusion of these Pokemon.
At this point, like, they've had their chance to like send the cease and desist. They've had their chance. They're enabling us, and they know it.
Or a marketing tool, really.
Yes,
exactly.
In fact, we should be sending the cease and desist.
Yeah.
Hey, eating Pokemon was our idea first.
Yeah.
Wow, we have like a trademark on that, right?
Probably.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the TV show does have Ash like thinking about eating a Magikarp, so.
Yeah, we're. I don't know if we can. We don't have the right kind of lawyers to make that argument, but if we.
We do have Michael Woods.
On retainer.
Yes.
It'll be like that.
Sorry, what?
Oh, it wasn't funny.
Okay.
Okay. I was just gonna say is on this line of like, like they are making more edible Pokemon, but on the other end, they're also turning them into rocks and like bedazzled little gem things with the terraforming, whatever. But so like, I don't know. They're kind of wrestling against us too by making them into rocks, which we hate eating.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. What if it's Pop Rocks?
Yeah.
What if it's Pop Rocks the whole time? Like,
yes. What if they're covered in Pop Rocks and that's what the new power is?
So like it'll definitely keep some people like some people will like lick the Pokemon and be like, ooh, that's too spicy for me. But for those of us with a refined palate.
You go to a restaurant and you pop open a champagne bottle, but it's filled with Pop Rocks, and you like pour it in a flute, and you're like, vintage 2017 Pop Rock.
Exactly.
Well, and one other thing that was in there that Ian probably will appreciate is that the motorcycle, the Pokemon is your motorcycle.
Yes. You get the legendary Pokemon at the start of the game, and he's your mount. You just ride him around the environment. You use a motorcycle, he can climb up walls, and he can glide through the air.
Let's go with the word steed. I like steed better.
No, you mount the Pokemon.
Well, I've been waiting to bust this segment out. Welcome to Wild Hogs, the podcast about cranking and riding your hog. I'm your host, Ian Davis. Let's talk about this motorcycle Pokemon. Because like one's a sport bike, and then the other one is like, I guess a little more like vintage.
Yeah.
It's not like Cafe Racer.
Yeah.
But
theoretically, the one represents. I don't remember their names. They're dumb, and I can't hold them in my mind because they're not food related. But one's like the past, and one's like the future. So like one's like a hover bike, and one's like a Harley from the '60s, and you're like, and you're like, yeah, baby. And I bet one's like super like pollutes the environment, like it farts a lot. It's like a cow, releases a lot of methane. Yes.
One's like really loud when you crank them.
Yes. You keep getting noise complaints when you crank that hog.
Ian, are you looking forward to the control mechanic where to crank your hog, as you said, quite eloquently said, you press the button on the back where your like hand would be, like the shoulder buttons?
No, we need motion controls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am glad you brought that up. I know like Reggie told us not to share this, but like there is like a cranking mechanic with the motion controls for sure.
Yeah,
it requires you to strap another like Joy-Con to your leg to like start the clutch or whatever.
You have to get actually 8 Joy-Cons and attach them to each of your limbs,
so that way you can like lean into it and everything.
Exactly. So each one represents like a different part. So you have one on your head, on your arms, legs, torso, the groin area, just because that's where you're sitting, that kind of thing. And then you just kind of like keep steering around, and that's how you drive your Pokemon motorcycle.
I love the they even got the details where like you want to like hit the X and Y buttons to like put on your indicators, but that A button, which is the horn, is just so close. Every time you try to change lanes, you just accidentally honk a little bit at someone.
A little bit of Mario Kart in there.
Yes. Does the horn play like La Cucaracha when you hit it?
This is basically just turning into like that arcade game at the movie theater that they have like the motorcycle simulator.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Damn, we should call up Reggie and say, fucking replace the Nintendo Switch with a fucking motorbike that you can ride in your house. Well, that's all the news about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We'll have more information for you as it comes along. Now let's move into the main section of the show. On I Choose You, we like to cook and eat Pokemon. Each week, we randomly select a new Pokemon to cook and eat. And then we deliver our recipes to each other, and we decide amongst ourselves who has the greatest, most delicious, and comforting recipe. And then we vote on the winner. I guess that's about it. I've been talking a lot, so even though I won the last season, I'm going to say, Ben, you should start.
Okay. I can start.
Yes. I should say, this week's Pokemon is Gourgeist.
Yes. The taller, more person-like, I guess, evolution of Pumpkaboo.
Yes.
It's a little less. I feel like Pumpkaboo is kind of like a cat in a pumpkin. This one's more like a person.
And do you ever like walk around on Halloween and worry that like a cat is in a pumpkin and might jump out at you?
Like a little black kitty?
Yeah.
Not usually, but maybe if the wind is blowing some dried leaves in a specific spooky way, I might shiver as I'm walking down the neighborhood block. But it is not spooky season, technically speaking, which is a little bit unfortunate for this Pokemon. And I initially was thinking, you know, like a fall recipe would make the most sense. I'm actually going to go into more of a summer refreshing dish. And it's inspired by a restaurant nearby that does a really good turmeric chicken with pesto orzo salad. And so instead, I will be preparing a half Flachinder, or what is it? Yeah, Flachinder, the bird Pokemon from this generation. Half Flachinder with pesto orzo and Gourgeist sauce.
Oh, okay.
So I'm making basically kind of I'm gonna interpret the Gourgeist squash gourd flavor profile to be kind of similar to a butternut squash. And we're going to make like a little sauce out of it and then serve that with our pesto orzo salad. Basically the way that you would make like this sauce is you'd like, slice your Gourgeist in half and start to carve out the meats from the main body section. And then you're going to take those little scoops and roast them in the oven with some olive oil and some salt, pepper, and sage. And then also the other thing that you're going to add to help it give it that turmeric-y taste is turmeric, of course.
Whoa, just slow down there and roll.
After you roast it, you're going to just put it in the food processor with some pasta water and just let it until it gets nice and thick. Are you
using that pasta for anything else?
Well, just so it's pasta water that you've used to make your orzo, which is a small little rice-like pasta. I guess I should have led with that. But it's a really quick step because the orzo is super small. So, prepare your orzo, take your pasta water, include that in your Gourgeist sauce. And then to the orzo salad, you're going to add the pesto, some tomatoes, some little broccolini, or in this case, pan sage. It's going to be a nice, refreshing, like summer kind of pasta salad kind of feel. Then you're going to serve it with the half-cooked Flachinder. And then you're going to do like one of those fancy like spreads with the sauce like on the plate with the Gourgeist butternut squash sauce. And it looks real pretty. And then you just dig in, knife and fork.
Nice. This sounds pretty fancy. Like, am I getting this at a hot gourmand restaurant, as the French say?
It is a little on the fancier side. It's a little upscale. When I had this in real life, I was blown away. It was delicious. I think when they served it, the orzo was like cut into these little like star shapes. That was really cool. I might opt for a Pokeball themed one, just to bring around our theming.
If you could make orzo into like wagon wheel Pokeball shaped shapes, that would be perfect.
Well, less wagon wheel. I guess more just like circular.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what I have for you today.
That sounds fun. I can't think of like many hilarious jokes right now though. So, Ian, do you have anything?
I have absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Fresh out. It's too good. Well, Ben, I have a slightly related, a little bit dish. You brought up pasta, and what I was thinking was traditionally this dish is made with pasta, but I'm going to use the Gourgeist here. But what we're making is a Gorbagool baked ziti. So I'm bringing it back to The Sopranos.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tony Soprano's like, "Where's my Gorbagool?"
Yeah,
Gabagool.
gabagool, baked ziti. It's every Soprano fan's favorite dish.
Yes.
So
Well, I mean, it's
yeah.
baked ziti's delicious, so
It's pretty freaking good. But what we're going to be doing with this one is it's going to be made out of the Gourgeist innards, and I'm presupposing that it's more like spaghetti squash in texture on the inside.
Nice.
So basically, what you do is you cut that sucker right in half. You toss it in the oven, get it all nice and baked, and then once you do that, you take it out. You scrape out the innards, get the spaghettiing process going, right? So it's all stringy and everything. And then you're going to get, for the sauce topping sort of deal, you're going to get a bunch of tomatoes and just kind of squish those with your hands and kind of like hand crush them a little bit.
Ooh.
It's fun, involve the whole family, whatever's your deal.
it's kind of an Olive Garden situation, as you know.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to add in some garlic, some sugar, some red pepper flakes, some salt, pepper, and then you're going to bubble that up into a nice little sauce. And then what you're going to do is once the squash is cooled slightly, you're going to mix in with the tomato sauce with a little bit of Parmesan and then put that on top of your spaghetti squash. And then on top of that, you're going to put a nice thick layer of mozzarella cheese.
Mozzarella.
And then toss that in the oven. But like just as it's almost done, you're going to take it out, put on some nice slices of gabagool, and then put it back in the oven, crisp it up, and then you're good to go.
Nice.
Oh, fuck. Shit. Damn.
I like that you incorporated some ghoulishness to this ghoulish Pokemon.
Oh yeah, like it's not spooky season, but you can't not, right?
Well, it's close enough. Like, people are getting the Goths. That Sandman show finally came out, so the Goths are rising from
the Goths are out.
Yes, the Goths are out, and I think they're getting ready for spooky season.
I basically consider August like fall, pretty much.
So, I don't. I just want to remind everybody that in the first episode of The Sopranos, they're pulling off a big heist to steal VCR combos, VCR players, and Pokemon cards to sell to people at a high price, because this movie, the TV show, was made in 1999.
Hell yeah.
Ian, what's your recipe this week?
Yeah, what I got for you guys is I thought for sure someone was going to do a pumpkin pie. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I was thinking about, so I didn't do that.
Oh shit.
Oh damn, you could have swooped in and grabbed that one.
Yeah.
I could have, but I left it for you, Jeremy.
Just like Yogi Bear could have swooped in and grabbed a pie off of a windowsill, you could have swooped this pie from our imaginations.
Okay, speaking of Yogi Bear, Ben, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you guys...
Was there Yogi news?
Yeah, no, but someone keeps bringing this up to me, and I want to bring it up to you guys, because I don't know if you know this. So 10, 12 years ago, there was a Yogi Bear movie released into theaters. I'm sure you remember it.
Oh,
you guys remember what the tagline to this movie was?
No. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know.
No. The tagline to the Yogi Bear movie, a film for children, was as follows: "Good things come in bears."
Oh, no.
Yeah, man.
Oh, no.
Can't argue with that.
See, Ben first was like, "Oh yeah, it's just a dumb joke," but then you think about it a little more,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, "They didn't have one homosexual on the staff of making this movie."
Oh, wow.
I mean, or someone was like, "This is gonna be fucking hilarious," and was like, "This is never gonna get approved," and then it like somehow went all the way through the corporate steps that it needed to be, and they were like, "Wow, I did it."
It was approved by both Hannah and Barbera, who are like, "Yeah, it's funny."
My God. Sorry, Ian, we've derailed from your pie.
Things Come in Bears is far funnier than anything I will ever say this year.
Well, see, Ian, that's why you need to get hired as like a madman, because you could just sit in a room all day staring at a whiteboard and be like, and then finally after like 6 hours, you just write "good things come in bears."
Just drop the marker and walk out the office.
Yeah, and that's your entire day at work.
They must have pulled that tagline because I don't think I see it anywhere on the internet.
Oh no. Maybe this is a Mandela effect, Jeremy, and you're remembering it wrong.
Oh, it's real. It has to be.
So far in the press,
Don't you remember when you were a kid and they said "good things come in bears"? And now they don't say that anymore. It doesn't say it anymore.
The Bernstein Bears. They said it. That was on the cover of the book. They said "good things come in bears."
Yeah, they've at least replaced it now with "Life's a Picnic." Far worse.
Is life a picnic?
No, a picnic.
I guess. Or I actually have a picnic adjacent story that happened to me at work today.
Picnic?
Yes.
I have like a boring teacher like briefcase, and I had some snacks, some schmackos.
Yeah, I just imagine it's like a boring briefcase, and you like click it open, and it's just like filled with bagels or something.
That would be on brand for me. I had some like there were snacks that were honestly left over from like last school year. It was like a bag of like chips, a little bag of like Mott's fruit snacks.
Good stuff.
Left it on the ground next to my desk over the weekend. I come back, and in the morning I pull my laptop out of the bag, and I put it on the table. And then as I'm doing work, I notice there are some ants crawling on the table. And I was like, "What are these ants doing here?" I look in my bag, filled with ants.
Ant City.
Ant City. So I was like,
"That's like a worse Owl City, if we're being honest with ourselves."
I was like 3 minutes out from having to walk to like a meeting, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna like close this and deal with this later. So I just closed it and left.
And then you opened it up, and it's like they formed a whole society in your briefcase.
Well, I should say I did dispose of the snacks.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's good.
Reasonable. I leave. I come back in an hour, and I'm like, all right, it's time to like wage war. I open up the bag, and the ants are all gone. There's not a trace.
Wow.
Fucking the X-Files theme as you plays as you open your briefcase. You're like, the ants are fucking gone.
I believe.
Yes.
So life really is a picnic.
Yes.
Okay.
Evan has provided us with the poster where it says "Great things come in bears," and it's a picture of Yogi Bear behind Boo Boo, which really emphasizes the great things come in bears. Yes.
Oh man, yeah. It's in 3D too. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's real bad.
There's so many readings of it.
Oh man, this is a heavy. This text requires many readings.
Yes, it's like the fucking Torah. You need to have like religious masters studying it for centuries.
Great things come in bears. Great things come in bears. Hey, boo boo. All right, this is the part where I do my recipe.
Okay,
Is it?
Baked Parmesan pumpkin Gourgeist fries.
Ooh.
Oh,
Fries.
lovely.
Fries. You get one Gourgeist. Is that how we're saying it? I've always read it as Gourgeist.
It's a gourd.
Guys.
I think it's Gourgeist because it's a gourd.
Shit, you're right. All right. Get one Gourgeist, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, olive oil, paprika, garlic powder, Parmesan cheese, fresh parsley, sea salt. It specifically says with a sharp knife. Slice the Gourgeist in half. Scoop out the seeds and pulp. Reserve the seeds for roasting. Slice
You
the two ends.
you put the seeds in the oven and you're like, the eternal roast.
Yeah, oftentimes I do compare my existence to that of a pumpkin seed. All week long, I'm just like in just moist, wet pulp, and then you guys pull me out to roast.
You're like, put me back in the pulp. I want it.
Yeah. You cut off like the long end and cut off the feet. and then slice the pumpkin into quarters. At that point, you slice it in half again, and then peel off the husk, the outside, and then you're going to slice the peeled pieces into 1/4-inch fries. This recipe emphasizes that these are thin fries because I guess pumpkin has a tendency to get soggy.
Right.
It does.
Makes sense.
We don't want that here. We want nice crispy, like shoestring style, maybe.
Oh,
Okay.
shit, yeah, baby.
Wow.
Oh, that crunch.
Place the Gourgeist fries in a large bowl, cover it with cold water, let them soak for, probably overnight. And then when they're finished soaking, get that oven to 425, line some baking sheets with parchment paper, drain the fries, pat them dry, get a large Ziploc bag with like the fries now that they're dried, and then top it with cornstarch and give that bag a little chicka. And then you place the fries in a large bowl and get some olive oil in there, toss them, some little paprika, garlic powder, you get the spices, and then spread them out on the baking sheet 15 minutes. And then while they're baking, toss the cheese on and the parsley. Bada bing, bada boom.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
But here's the kicker.
Oh,
Nope.
This is
There's a kicker?
Always is.
yes. Is this where you explain your name to us?
No. If people want to know, they can look it up.
You're saying that you didn't smash these pumpkins?
Yes.
Oh.
You did cut them very close, like cleverly.
Yeah, there was
When
no
you were cutting open your pumpkins, were you like, the world is a vampire?
Well, it is Halloween, so yeah.
Yes.
When you weren't smashing these pumpkins, you were like, despite all my rage, I know I'm still just a rat in this cage. And you're like, today is the greatest.
Yes.
God damn it.
And then you're like, oh, what am I going to have for dinner tonight?
What was that other song? Cherub Angels. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else? Any other
Well, you're like, oh, what can I have with my pumpkin? How about I get a water melancholy in the infinite sadness?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
When you're cutting the pumpkins open, you could say you're making a gish. It's a
On the way-
default.
On the way back from my tour, somehow we started talking about Five Finger Death Punch. And their first album, what is that called?
I don't know off the top of my head.
You can name like 30 Smashing Pumpkin songs, but you can't name one.
Well, I will say that Smashing Pumpkins is a little bit well more known than Five Finger Death Punch.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, on their first album, the song is the title of the album, which really tanks this story. But for those of you who don't know, I'm in a band called Zoltan and the Fortune Tellers, and he was talking about how when he was a kid, I guess like the guitarist for that band is also named Zoltan and is also Hungarian, because I guess everyone in Hungary is named Zoltan. But they have a line in the song, like it's like instrumental, like going really hard, and then the singer's like, Zoltan, open the sky, and then he takes like a ripping.
Oh, fuck yeah.
guitar solo.
Interesting.
Is it The Way of the Fist?
Yeah, The Way of the Fist.
Wow. Thank you, Evan.
Yeah.
Fast fingers
I didn't
there.
pull that out of my head. Yeah.
But that's my story, because I couldn't have named you a Smashing Pumpkin song if you held a pumpkin to my head.
Oh, a pumpkin to your head?
Yeah.
Not Cherub Rock, not 1979, Tonight.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
No.
My only interaction with Smashing Pumpkins is I have like a bass book, and there's like a picture of that band in it. And I can picture them wearing their like smug jeans and their like army like surplus jackets.
The joke was so good you broke Jeremy's internet.
Hey, look, the internet's not completely down. I'm still going.
That's true.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Anyway, the kick.
I like, I just want to say, you said they have smug jeans. That's just how people looked in the 90s.
Yeah, I like that you're
When you're
just
smug
describing
jeans.
like grunge but like 30 years afterward. Like,
Ian walks up to Kurt Cobain and is like, your smug jeans.
Probably would.
all
The
right.
kicker is you would order these, if you order them at like a fast food joint, similar to the Gourgeist, you can get them in small, average, large, or supersized.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one thing reading the Bulbapedia that I was like, did I miss this? Why are there like so many different sizes, and why does this matter? You know, like, because it's only for Sword and Shield, I'm pretty sure. And
the alternate sizes,
I definitely remember I remember, you know, running across my fair share of Gourgeist and Pumpkaboos in my, you know, Sword and Shield days. And I never remember it being like, oh yeah, they come in like 4 different sizes that you can all collect and like blah, all this shit.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Like, I beat that game and it's like, yeah, a Pumpkaboo, I caught one. Like, and that's, granted, that was the furthest. I never had one like on my team or whatever. So
you ever listen to that song, No Pumpkaboo? And there's the line where it's like, Gourgeist means average.
God fucking damn it. All right.
We're really funny. We should be like on like we each should like be on like a comedy club.
Yeah, we should really be on a comedy show. I think we should actually move away from this Pokemon shit and move to comedy.
Yes, excellent. Well, I think my segment will provide much comedy for you guys because I stumbled on an epiphany today.
Oh.
In ancient times, people used to carry water in gourds. It's the main way that they transported
They still do.
things, liquids, items across distant lands. And I was thinking to myself, what can we do with the Gourgeist and the gourd as a utility to really bring home the possibilities? A traveling Pokemon snack. And that's why today, my friends, I'm going to make Gourgurt, which is Gourgeist yogurt served in a Gourgeist gourd.
Okay.
And you take it on the go.
On the gourd?
Yes, Ben?
Seems like a lot of Go-Gurt. I'm just going to be frank. Usually they come in pretty self-contained tubes, you know,
Ben,
that are like...
have you ever just eaten one Go-Gurt? I don't think so.
He has a point.
Yeah.
He makes a good point.
Much like Pringles, once you pop a Go-Gurt, you by law cannot stop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I never made this connection, but like a Pringles can is the perfect transportation device
for a bunch of Go-Gurts.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You have like a whole bouquet of them.
Yes. Make like a straw thing, so you like pull it up and the Go-Gurts like come out like
snakes.
and you could get different flavors.
Jeremy, what flavor is your Gourgurt?
Well, it's my Gourgurt is actually Gourgeist flavor because we're making a pumpkin or gourd-based Go-Gurt recipe. So it's pretty straightforward. You will need a yogurt of your choice, whatever you feel like picking up. I usually go for something that's a little tartar especially when I'm mixing stuff into it, because usually that gives you the flavor distinctions. You're going to need some maple syrup, some cream cheese, some pumpkin pie spice, and some pureed Gourgeist. Of course, how we're going to do that, we're going to cut our Gourgeist into quarters, or as I like to say, gourders. And then we're going to stick those into the oven and roast them for about 30 minutes. We're going to add some salt. We're going to add some cinnamon, just to really bring out the flavor in the water a bit from the Gourgeist. Once they're nice and roasted, we're going to skin off the outer layer, and then we're going to puree the Gourgeist. And then this is where it gets really easy. You're going to combine the Gourgeist puree, the cream cheese, sugar, and pumpkin spice, and we're going to add in the maple syrup. And then make sure it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to get our yogurt, and we're going to basically we can use a stand mixer or whatever thing you element you like. Get your yogurt of choice. Pour the Gourgeist puree in it. Mix it all together so it's a nice smooth consistency, and then we're going to get our second Gourgeist, preferably a small one, though we can go for any size if we're honest with ourselves. And we're gonna
you can supersize it.
Yes, we're gonna supersize it, and we're gonna take like the top part. So you know how it has like the jack-o'-lantern bottom? It's a little too thick for our necessary portability. So we're gonna whack that off, stop it up, and then use the top half of the Gourgeist as our vessel for the Gorgurt. So we're gonna fill the yogurt material into the top half of the Gourgeist, seal it up, and then bada bing, bada boom, you've got your Gorgurt. And that is my recipe. Yes, Ian.
3 questions.
3, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Answer me these questions 3.
Yes, fucking cross your bridge.
1.
Okay.
How do you keep it cold while you're on the go?
Well, you see, Ian, this is a thing that's perplexed many people for decades. And the answer is that yogurt doesn't need to be refrigerated after it's sealed.
That wasn't what I asked. I'm not eating hot yogurt.
Some people like their Go-Gurt frozen, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not in fucking Europe. I don't drink my beer hot. Okay.
Okay, so how do you keep your Go-Gurt cold? You put it in the fucking fridge or the freezer, and then you put it in like a lunchbox. I don't know. What do you want from me?
You were just making it sound like I was going on like this epic trek.
Yeah, carrying this
like
board
all your Go-Gurt
full of Go-Gurt.
So I'll let you on a little secret, Ian. Like when I go hiking, when I go on epic treks, if you will, to the mountains, to the valleys, to the ocean, if you will, I usually just put all of my food items in my backpack and I just shove it in there. And if I want it to be a little cooler, it's a little closer to my water kind of situation. And that's basically the extent of it. But I think if you cool the Gorgurt before you go in the Gorgurt tube, which is made out of the Gourgeist, it'll be kind of insulated because the Gourgeist is a little thicker than your average Mon. So it will retain the chill factor in the center when you take it on your epic journey.
I don't know, Jeremy. One of the most pleasing things about Go-Gurt is being able to just like thinly squeeze it out of this tube. This gourd tube doesn't sound very squeezable.
That was my second question. Explain
the squeeze factor, Jeremy.
Answer for your sins.
Go-Gurt is inherently goable because you don't need a spoon. There's no cleanup. There's no utensil.
Inherently goable.
I mean, anything's inherently goable if you just put it in a bag and cut a hole in it. You're like, oh, this chicken tikka masala is very goable because I put it in a bag and I cut a hole in it and I just squeeze it into my mouth.
Right, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I handle these gourds on a daily basis in my class because some of the instruments I use in my West African drumming class are made from these exact gourds.
Yeah, but are they filled with yogurt?
They're not, because I can't. You need a fucking Sunday spoon. I'll be right back.
The only thing stopping him from putting yogurt in his gourds for class is because they're not squeezable enough.
Exhibit A.
Okay, a gourd.
A gourd.
We got a hollowed gourd. Yep.
Definitely
not squeezable.
Ian, this gourd has not been dried.
Excuse me?
No, it looks very dry.
That's what I'm saying is the Gorgurt gourd has not been dried. Your gourd has been dehydrated. Mine still has the flexibility that comes with a freshly slaughtered Mon.
But that's all of the vessels you've been talking about. They're dry.
Well, but this is the great invention of our time.
So I think what Jeremy's saying is Gourgeist, when alive, has the consistency of a wacky inflatable flailing tube man until it dries.
It has to walk around and hit people.
Okay.
I see. So fresh yogurt in a fresh you gotta eat this thing the same day or it's gonna start tasting a little funky.
Well, that's true of regular Go-Gurt if you take it out of the fridge. So yes.
Interesting.
Okay.
What was your third question?
What's your third question? This is turned into quite the cross-examination.
Well, I have an affinity for these gourds. Like I don't know, I like know a lot about them and I teach a lot about them. So I was gonna ask if you were familiar with Burkina, which is a type of yogurt that's popular in Ghana.
I might, maybe I've eaten it, but I couldn't tell you by name alone.
It's like like a thick yogurt with like millet balls in it. And you actually like, at least in the videos I've watched, sometimes they're sold in like basically like plastic water bottles. You like kind of like you drink it out of it, even though it's like really thick. You know, you have to squeeze it.
Interesting.
I thought that would be like thematic, but you've taken a different. I'm still wrapping my head around like a fresh.
Clearly, Jeremy was not prepared for how much Ian is invested in Go-Gurt and gourds to be grilled like this.
You come
What's
to my
like
house.
what's yeah, well, the eternal roast, if you will. Let's review our recipes. This episode is gonna be long. From Ben, we have Fletcher. I forget the exact name of the Pokemon. Fletchinder, and with a Gourgeist sauce. From Evan, we have Gorbagool and baked ziti. From Ian, we have Gourgeist fries. And from me, we have Gourgurt. Gourgeist yogurt on the go. Ben, can you tell us who the winnermon is this week?
I actually can't right now.
What?
Because there is a dead heat tie right now.
Shit.
A four-way tie?
2-on-2, not a four-way tie. 2-on-2. And it is between Evan and Jeremy.
Oh.
So despite all of the heat that Jeremy got, he still pulled out Ian and Evan's vote because I voted for Evan.
I also voted for Evan.
I voted for Jeremy.
Thank you, Evan.
I gotta say, so there's a company in Seattle that makes every fall a pumpkin yogurt that is fucking delicious.
Oh,
really?
It sounds great. I've never had pumpkin yogurt, but that sounds good.
It's the kind of like the Greek yogurt where it's like you stir it in, right? And it's got like a little bit of granola. It's actually like a pie crust that you stir into it. It's so good.
Yeah, that sounds so good.
Elenos yogurt.
I don't even like yogurt all that much. That sounds good.
Oh, it's a dessert. It's a treat.
You also know that Southern California is home to many fine yogurt establishments, right?
Nope.
Okay.
I am not lying when I say that I'm not super into yogurt, and yogurt's not on my radar like at all.
Wow. Interesting.
Gotta say.
Well, we gotta fix that. Okay.
Not a chaperone, I guess.
I would say a great start to this new season, wouldn't you guys?
I mean, not really. It's a tie.
Keeping us in suspense.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next section of the show. Oh wait, do we have any Pokédollahallas this week? Or are we busy so we couldn't make any?
Too busy.
Okay. No sponsors this week, but let us move on to everyone's favorite section of the show. It's called Wailord's Mail Horde. It's where we read your emails sent into ichoosepod@gmail.com. That's ichewspod@gmail.com. Ian, could you read this email from Edward?
Edward writes, "Hello, my friends, and welcome to season 6." All caps.
Woo!
Today I'm going to be making some presuppositions, but not stews. The mon on the chopping block today is Gourgeist. This one is pretty clear to me what we should make out of it, just because it's a beautiful squash. This is where my thoughts went. Pumpkin Cowboy, a song by Brian David Gilbert.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with this song off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's very funny. Continue.
Gourgeist Gorgonzola.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh.
Cheese.
Just cheese.
String cheese.
Okay. Ooh.
Spaghetti squash.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. Yep.
Okay.
It won't take a detective to know what I'm going to be making now. I'm sure Ed meant to say a Detective Pikachu.
Oh, of course.
But we're making stringy spaghetti Gourgeist gorgonzola.
Nice.
Nice.
Gourgeist is, in essence, a spaghetti squash, but because of the powers of alliteration, it's cheese on the inside.
Oh, yes.
Love it. Love it.
So we'll just
God,
cut
I
it.
wish I could cut open a plant and it's filled with cheese. Like
Purely based on the power of alliteration. That is the key. Is like like language has power, Jeremy.
But man, imagine like you have a watermelon, but it's like a cheese melon, and you like cut it open, and there's like a Gouda inside.
Oh God, I don't like that at all. Actually,
It's like you like spoon out all the stringy pulp and stuff, and that's like the like loose cheese, and then like the and then it's got like a nice hard cheese.
Yes.
oh no.
So we'll just cut this bad Larry in half. Take a fork and just wreck the insides. Throw it in the oven for a while on some temperature, and then take it out after an amount of time. Afterwards, we'll have to cool it, so separate the strands, and then throw in the fridge for like 3, maybe 4. Then we vacuum wrap it like we get string cheese at the store, if you so like. So happy that season 6 is here. New ideas, good and bad, are about to be upon us.
I think mostly bad. My evidence for this is this episode. Anyway, Evan.
I will say that Gourgeist does have a very string cheese aesthetic to its head. Like you could start peeling away at that bad boy and start getting cheese real fast.
Suddenly you like the idea of a cheese fruit again.
I swiped over to look at Gourgeist on Bulbapedia, but I had closed the tab, and the only thing open is Billy Corgan's Wikipedia page.
Billy Corgan would also be very string cheese like. You could start peeling away at that bad boy and get the cheese real fast.
Billy Gourgeist. There you go. Anyway. Evan, can you read this email sent in by Mike?
I can indeed. Mike says, "Hey, Icy Boys, making food with Mike here with another sentimental recipe." So apparently he's using our show as a platform for his own show.
Yes.
It's a show within a show.
Yes. It is. Can cracks open.
Too bad I don't have another drink with me.
Every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, my wife and I make a crumpkin, which is a pumpkin crumb cake, which I am bringing to the table today.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
I know what you're saying. Mike, it's a gourd, not a pumpkin. I'd argue those two things are pretty close. Fuck you, Mike says. Pumpkin puree isn't even pumpkin usually. There's a really good Loxton video about it. So that's my presupposition. Okay. Gourgeist is realistically sized for a large pumpkin at 2 feet 11 inches, but we're not going to use the whole hog here. So let's get baking. Preheat your oven to 350. For the cake, you mix flour, baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon, granulated sugar, brown sugar, room temperature butter, 30 ounces of Gourgeist puree. Pour the mixture into a baking dish when smooth. To make crumb, you basically use the same ingredients as the cake portion, sans Gourgeist. But it is very important when making crumb streusel that you melt the butter when mixing it together. Grab handfuls of streusel, crumble it up over your cake in the baking dish. Bake for about an hour or until you stab a knife in the middle and it comes out clean. Top with confectioner's sugar and enjoy. My wife likes to warm it up and have it a la mode. Because Gourgeist is grass and ghost type, I will be making this and giving out slices for Halloween this year. Thanks for reading Making Food with Mike. P.S. What up, Mandrew? And then P.P.S. It's Mandrew's birthday, August 7th. So happy birthday yesterday.
Yes. Hey. And they sent in pictures of Mandrew. I don't know which one's Mike and which one's Mandrew. So
the eternal mystery of who Mandrew really is.
Mandrew haunts our halls like a ghost going through different parts of our life.
I will say that is a really great family tradition or whatever. Like that sounds like a really cool original recipe to make every year.
I would totally. Just sounds good. Like I would eat it. Like if someone was like, "Here's like a pumpkin like crumble cake," I'd be like, "Hell, fuck yes, give it to me."
Yeah, if I like went into a cafe and saw that like on the, like display case or whatever, just be like, that, give me some of that immediately.
It will
Like,
be nice.
not to turn into like a white girl, but
Mm.
pumpkin stuff in the fall, it's real good.
Oh yeah,
It's
baby.
real good.
Oh,
Yes.
it's so good.
That's
Yes.
one concession that I will let them have.
It is a little bit crazy when you think about it, like how far we've come in terms of pumpkin flavored things. Like I it's kind of weird. Like if you think about it, like 15 years ago, like man, I'm sure there was so many people who were just like craving that pumpkin taste and being disappointed at every turn. Now it's like you can't during the fall time you can't, walk a block without seeing some pumpkin spiced something.
Yes. I agree. I love pumpkin stuff. It's delicious. Even pumpkin spice itself does not have any pumpkin in it. It's
Right.
really the spices, but those are good spices. Anyway, let us move on. Thanks for sending in those emails. iChoosePod at gmail.com. Excuse me. Moving on to our Twitter recipes at iChoosePod. Ben, I've heard that Pokemaniac Chris has written in.
Yes, they have. He writes at iChoosePod, "Oh God, we're in France. Colossians
not the
are
French.
Colossians are notorious food snobs. If you stray from tradition or overseason the meat or don't let the dough rise for long enough, or even just screw up the wine pairing, they'll eat you alive. Welcome to the big boys table." Luckily, I have just the recipe for this occasion. Gourgeist gnocchi. This is a use the entire buffalo recipe. You need Gourgeist's body, long neck, wavy, quote, hair, and internal flame, as well as a couple of the other ingredients, eggs, go-goat ricotta, and some fragrant Colossian herbs. First, remove Gourgeist's neck and head, set them aside, and chop up its tough pumpkin body. This step seems self-explanatory, but make sure to leave the base intact so its spectral fire keeps burning. Next, boil, mash, and puree the body, then cut off Gourgeist's, quote, hair. This hair, as the Pokedex tells us, is really the Pokemon's arms. Their texture is soft, squishy, and very elastic, and once severed from its head, Gourgeist hair can be kneaded into the pumpkin puree, some go-goat ricotta, salt, black pepper, and an egg to form a dough. If you're a purist, you could use a pumpkaboo egg here, but just about any Pokemon egg will work. Form your dough into long, thin ropes, then slice them into little bite-sized pieces. Boil these in water until they float. At this point, you could just pan fry your gnocchi in go-goat butter or small of oil. But because this is Colossian cooking, we have to do a little bit extra. Gourgeist's long, thick neck is where it stores most of its body fat. Its taste and texture are not unlike a hazelnut. Chop up the neck and head to remove any organy bits. Roast the pieces until fragrant. Grind them into a paste and squeeze the oil out. Gourgeist oil. Oh my God. Gourgeist oil is liquid gold. Colossian chefs can't get enough of it. This is what you fry gnocchi in if you want to be real classy. Set up the base of Gourgeist's body, hopefully still burning with ghostly fire, and fry your gnocchi in your Gourgeist oil over that flame. The spirit fire seals in the complex savory sweetness of the Pokemon's soul, and the oil adds a nutty dimension to the flavor profile. After 1 minute, add Trevenant leaves for a hint of bitterness. Cook for 2 to 3 minutes longer and serve immediately. No Colossian would be caught dead pairing this with anything but sparkling white Florges wine. But if you don't tell anyone, we can just have Pamplemousse LaCroix.
Excellent.
Man, what a tale.
Yeah. World
Delicious.
building.
That sounds good. I would eat that. Anyway, I've got another recipe from Duchess Taco. They write and send, "It's time for pie at iChoosePod." And we've got the perfect Pokemon for it. Gourgeist. First step, Cut a hole in the Gourgeist right at the base of the stem and scoop out all the Gourgeist guts. Puree the Gourgeist guts and put them in a bowl. Mix in ground ginger, ground cinnamon, ground nutmeg, ground allspice, and ground cloves, brown sugar, and about 3 Togepi eggs per pie. That's so many eggs. Add in a can of evaporated Miltank milk per pie, along with a splash of Trevorant maple syrup and Sunkern bourbon. Pour bourbon in a pie. I've never thought about that.
That sounds good.
So good.
Yes. Pour your mixture into a par-baked pie crust of choice. We've made enough pie on the show that we want this process several times. And bake until your custard is set and the crust lightly golden brown. Serve up your Gourgeist pie with available whipped cream. Delicious.
So it looked like Dutch's Taco swooped in and grabbed that pie.
Yes.
That Ian was imagining.
That was just sitting on a window cooling.
I gotta say, overall, Gourgurt, pretty good. Go-Gurt would also be pretty good.
Oh, wow, yeah. Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt. Go-Gurt! Anyway, this is a hellaciously long episode, so let's move on to the next segment. It's called Pick-A-Mon. It's where we pick next week's Pokemon. Jesus Christ. Evan, can you randomly generate a number between 650 and 721?
I can indeed. Next week, we will be doing 713.
713, you say? 713 is Avalugg. It's an ice type. It's like a big shelf kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a giant glacier.
Are we cooking up glaciers?
Yes, we're gonna contribute to climate change and eat a glacier.
This is the problem. People want to tell you it's all Taylor Swift taking these private jets everywhere and these big fucking corporations, but it's actually people like us, podcasts, who are eating the glaciers.
Yes.
I will eat the world.
Yes.
It's Jimmy. Jimmy's eating it.
Ian, did you understand that joke? Okay, great. I'm glad to confirm that there's a band called Jimmy Eat World. Anyway, Avalugg is next week's Pokemon. Send in your Avalugg recipes to ichoosepod@gmail.com. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Plugs. Ben, what are you plugging?
Well, interesting that you ask, because I actually have a very specific campaign that I do need to plug and people do need to pay attention to, which is that my cat is running to be on the calendar for the San Diego Humane Society. And I'm going to need every vote I can possibly get. So you're going to want to follow me on Twitter at Ben C. Montoya. I'll be posting pictures of Millie for the whole month, which is what I usually do, but probably more often. And you have the whole month of August to vote for Millie on the San Diego Humane Society website. You might have trouble getting to the link, so just follow me on Twitter and you'll see the link there and you can vote for her. And right now we have 85 votes and our goal was 100. So we're already surpassing our expectations. And it's a fundraiser too for San Diego Humane Society. So it's a good cause as well.
Is this just like vanilla cats, or are they like dressed up as fun things?
Well, I liked that the picture. It is just a picture of Ben's cat, but it's still just it's a picture of Ben's cat.
Just a picture. It's a very cute picture of my cat, and I will be posting more of them that are not cute, that are more derpy, which is where I think she really excels. And you can follow the whole saga and donate to Millie's campaign for San Diego mayor at the San Diego Humane Society website.
What?
So does the cat actually get to become mayor if they get enough votes?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you get featured in the calendar and then also they give you the key to the city.
The key
So
to the
that's
kitty.
what I need. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Is this one of those deals where you can like vote every day, or is it a one-time?
Well, it's one of those situations where you each vote is technically $1 that you are donating to the San Diego Humane Society. So if you really wanted to, you could donate $1 every day for the month of August for Millie if you really wanted to. I'm not saying anyone should do that, but you could if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to clinch that, December spot for Millie, which I think she could fill a nice December spread pretty well. You could do that. You could donate a vote every day.
I love how under Pets Quirks it just says loves feet.
Oh yeah.
It's got a fucking Quentin Tarantino over here.
It's got a foot thing.
It's a real Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So stand in solidarity with Bob Odenkirk and vote for Millie because she also loves feet.
Excellent.
Oh boy. Okay.
Ian, tell us about your shit.
Yeah, everyone please go to Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, wherever you listen to your bullshit, and check out Zoltan and the Fortune Teller's new EP titled After Dark. Such hits. You'll burn yourself on it. We got hits.
The cover
like,
of this album has a bear on it.
Think about it.
Very sweet.
Good things come in bears. What can I say?
Like this album, it like you walk up to a bear and it like yarfs, and the album is.
There is a song on there about bears.
Yeah, you can listen to my hit single "Fat Bear Week." Sent it to the official Fat Bear Week Instagram, and they said, and I quote, "Very nice." So
I imagine they said it in a Borat voice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Hopefully they do something with it, because it's far better than whatever that fucking intern thought.
You gotta like license it to
Just some poor National Park Service person who's like,
Yeah.
this bear ate my family, and then they have to listen to your song.
That bear week. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also there's songs like Rasputin's Dick, so it's fun for all ages. Check it out. Zoltan and the Fortune Tellers After Dark.
Excellent.
Nice.
Evan.
You can follow me on Twitter at @E_Van Aubrey.
Excellent. You can follow me on Twitter at VelocityPrime1, and you can see all of the exciting places I've been, like a mountain or a lake kind of situation.
Or a sand dune.
Yes, I've been to so many sand dunes this year, and I don't live near the beach. It really makes you think. Anyway, follow me at Twitter at VelocityPrimeRun1, VelocityPrime1. And you can check out my writing at the-avocado.org. Jeremy Zelick at the-avocado.org. Movies, television, video games, all at the-avocado.org. All right, let's wrap. Oh, Ben,
one other thing that I want to just briefly plug is I saw, we were talking about Fido and the new food-based Pokemon that came out. Cupcake Dex, our friend and streamer, did Fido bagels.
Yes.
So everyone should go check out that. That was pretty cool.
Yes, that was very good. All right, let's wrap this one up. My name has been... no. God damn, I just jumped right to the end because I was like, oh, we have to leave. No. This has been I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. You can find our show on your favorite podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify, or your podcast catcher of choice. If you like our show, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, check out our social media pages, I Choose Pod, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Hang out with fellow Choosies and have a good time. Send in recipes, interact with us, all that business. If you want to join the I Choose You community, head over to the Discord, I Choose You Discord. Link is available in the episode description. Lastly but not leastly, make sure to check out the official I Choose You website, ichooseyou.menu. ichooseyou.menu has a full episode archive and a merch store, all designed by Evan Aubrey. Check that out at ichooseyou.menu. And starting off season 6 with a really big bang, I've been your host and Alton Brown of the group, Jeremy Zelick.
I've been your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
And your Billy Corgan, Ian Davis. Make sure you check out the new theme song.
Check it out. And I've been Evan Aubrey.
And to all the choosies out there in Radioland, in a while, Totodile.
Yeah, I choose you. Yeah, I choose you.
Everybody wants to be a master. Chef. Everybody wants to show their skill. In the kitchen, everybody wants to cook that cluncher. Finny in at the top of the grill. Each time you fry, gonna cook it just a little bit better. Each taste you try, boy, this frokie is nice and tender. It's a whole new world we cook in. It's a whole new place to eat. We're in season 6 with some brand new recipes, 'cause we're still gonna cook them all and make a pun or 2 or 3. It's a whole new world we cook in. It's a whole new place to eat. We're in season 6 with some brand new recipes, 'cause we're still gonna cook them all and make a pun or 2 or 3.